Let's talk about focus on basketball, since that was the predominant part of your life.
To answer your question, I was born to do this thing, man, and I did it nonstop, all day long, from the age of 2 to when I retired, man. That's the trick, isn't it? It's finding what you love to do. I mean, we talk about hard work all the time. It's like, man, if you got to get up every single morning and remind yourself how hard you need to work, you probably need to choose a different profession, because that shouldn't be there. I wake up in the morning excited to get to it. If I'm not training, I'm missing it. If I'm not watching a game of basketball, I miss it. There's no place I'd rather be. And if you have that feeling, then you're truly doing what God has put you on this earth to do.
You were so young, you were 17, that your parents had to sign your first NBA contract.
Yeah.
You're the youngest person not only on the team, but in the league. Do you have any advice for students entering an organization and being the youngest person, not in the room, but in the whole company?
Well, I mean, in business, it's a little different. I think the best way to prove your value is to work, is to learn, is to absorb, to be a sponge. Right? But you always want to outwork your potential. As hard as you believe you can work harder than that. That competitive nature, the work ethic, and curiosity. Because I asked a lot of questions. And so I would always ask questions and try to learn as much as I could.
How do you stretch your beliefs and make sure you are continually pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone and your capabilities?
I just dream. I have dreams, and dreams they should be pure. And I think a lot of times, when we're born into this world, we actually wind up going backwards. And it seems like the more we mature, the more responsible our dreams become, and the more governors we put on ourselves and our ability to dream and to reimagine. And it's always a fight for us parents and for you guys to make sure that your dreams always stay pure. And so it's not a matter of pushing beyond your limitations or expectations. It's really a matter of protecting your dreams, protecting your imagination. That's really the key. And when you do that, then the world just seems limitless. No, I always dreamed as a kid that, it was possible to score 80 or 90 or 100. I always just had a dream. Like sometimes you lay down in bed and you visualize things. And you just kind of, that's at least how I would go to sleep. I'd lay down, I'd imagine playing for the Lakers, and I would imagine what the uniforms look like. I would imagine where we'd be playing, and the smell of the arena and all sorts of stuff. And I would see myself, getting hot, and score 10 straight points. But in a dream, why would you ever interrupt that? You're not going to have a dream and be like, okay, and then he misses his next 6. It's not going to happen. So you just keep dreaming and dreaming and dreaming. And before I go to sleep, I'm at 120 points, And so when you grow up, downloading that into your brain over and over and over. And then, that summer, I made 1,000 shots a day. 1,000, right? That's on top of weight training and my conditioning. I made 1,000 shots, and they weren't just shots. It were shots that you saw in that game. They were specific shots. I mean, it was coming out of the corner, going to the pinch post, footwork in the post, coming off the screen. It was very specific. So when you download that into your system and you go out in the court and you're just executing things that you've done thousands of times before, and you have that dream, then that becomes possible. There's why reinvent it? I don't understand that. You go out and play the game and you're just trying to create something new. No, this is what I do. This is what I do extremely well. You're gonna have to stop me from doing that. And if you do stop me from doing that, I have a counter to that.
In your basketball career, did you have an articulated competitive philosophy, something short that meant something to you, that really stood for what you played?
My philosophy was a very simple one. I made a promise to myself from that day that I was going to work that hard every single day, so that when I do retire, I have no regrets. And that was the most important thing for me, is to leave no stone unturned, get better every single day. And if I lived that way, then over time, I'd have something that was beautiful. But that was my philosophy. It seems like a pretty simple one, but if you live your life to just get better every single day, and do that for 20 years, what do you have?
That's good, right? you really focused on practice. Tell us what you brought to practice and how you sort of made that standard for the rest of your team.
Well, I mean, here's why practice was important to me. Not from just the standpoint that I enjoyed playing. Like, I enjoyed being there. I enjoyed getting better. But as a leader of a team, it's also your responsibility to elevate the rest of the guys. And what people tend to get stuck on a lot is saying, okay, the way to make players better is to pass them the ball when they're open. That's a very trivial way to look at things. What you have to do is you have to get them emotionally to want to be better. You have to get them to an emotional space where they wake up every morning driven to be the best version of themselves, right? And how do you do that? And in practice, for me, it was a chance to drive them, to challenge them, right? And this is where you have to know your teammates, because if it's late, we just had a back-to-back and we had practice the next day, and you show up and guys don't feel like going through the motions, don't feel like practicing. It's important to know each and every one of them individually, personally, because then you know what nerve to touch. Some guys, it's like, okay, come on, we can do this. That'll get them going. Other guys, no. You got to figure out what button to push. When I started playing the game, everything was about trying to be the best. Win as many championships as you can, yada, 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 yada. You get older, you start to understand that really it's about the next generation, that these championships do come and go, right? And there'll be other people that win championships, but the most important thing you can do is to pay everything that you've learned forward to the next generation to come. And that's truly how you create something that lasts forever.
What did you know and learn at the end of your career that you wish you knew at the beginning?
Understanding empathy and compassion. Right? Because as a young kid, when I came in the league, it was like, I'm driving this way, and either you're going to be on the train or be on the track. Right? There was no such thing as understanding that people have lives outside of the game, which apparently I did not. But like, if I understood that at an early age, then it helps me as a leader to communicate better. I came to understand that later, and getting to know people on a personal level. What are their fears? What are their insecurities? Right? What are their dreams and ambitions, desires, those sorts of things. When you come to understand that about a person, then you can help them reach the best version of themselves. So I wish I'd known that earlier. So I think it's important for athletes to own what it is that they're going through. It's awareness, right? I think a lot of times we try to tell children, tell young athletes in particular, that if you have those thoughts and those feelings, that's weakness, that's bad, you shouldn't be feeling that, which then causes them to feel some type of way about themselves, right? They carry that around with them for the rest of their lives. And I think the most important thing is for us to be aware of what's going on in here. Not that it's bad, good, or indifferent, but it's awareness. And once you're aware of it, then you can choose to walk hand in hand with it, or you can choose to fight it, but you're making that decision. If you just can constantly bury that in the distance, then it starts festering, and it comes up in different ways and manifests itself in different ways. So I think it's unbelievable what DeMar and what Kevin are doing, and hope to see more of it.
What is the most important thing that I can take away from football that would translate into my life after sports?
Well, I mean, it's different for everyone. You know, I think for me it was the discipline, the teamwork. I mean, I think teamwork's the most important thing, in the sense of, sports is a place where you can have so many different ethnicities, people from different religious beliefs, political beliefs, but you're all grounded with one focus, or achieving one thing, right? So being able to put those things to the side to accomplish a goal, and that's one of the strongest lessons I think you should take from team sports.
How do you inspire and foster that vision of greatness in a child? You talked a little bit about the stories you tell them. A mentality that's very different than what they see every day in social media and so on.
I try to get my kids to see the beauty in the process. So when they got old enough, I used to take them with me to workouts. And they used to be over there kicking a soccer ball around or whatever, but they would see. Right? It's not they're sitting there and watching upset, but they would see. They know I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? They know I'm training again, and this film, Dear Basketball. I mean, they were there with me as I was writing it and going through the animation process, going through step by step. And I think the important thing that we can do as parents is to lead by example, but also encourage our children to think incrementally. Not to say, okay, I want to be like, Gianna, for example, my daughter who plays basketball now. She said, Dad, can you teach me how to play basketball? I'm like, sure. She's like, okay, I want to be better than you. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's start with 15 minutes a day, right? And for 15 minutes a day, we just stood right in front of the hoop and just shot, right under the hoop. We didn't move around, we didn't do any dribbling, just 15 minutes a day, just shoot here, right? And you do that for a month and a half. And then next month, you step back. And the next month, you step back again. And then you start working on dribbling, right? And so I think through actionable things is how we teach our children, right? Because we can sit there and tell them, we're not, we're a kid, we didn't listen, right? But through sports, you can teach them how to think things incrementally because that's the way they behave. And if it becomes a part of their process in sports, it'll become a part of their process in life as well.